All right, guys, welcome to Stack episode number 10. Today is going to be a reflection and an evaluation of what we've been stacking in 2025. Today is January 22nd. We're about 5% through the new year, so I think it's appropriate and fitting to reevaluate and to look at how things have been going over the last 3 or so weeks. So one thing I want to talk about, and these are questions that I've been asking myself, is how is your stack going? Like, is it going well? Does it need improvement? Is it going great? Do you need to challenge yourself in some other areas? And so I came up with 3 questions that I want to ask, that I am asking myself, not just the audience. Number 1 is, do I need to course correct? When they talk about mission drift, they talk a lot about how 1% off course in the beginning leads to being greatly off course over years. And so when you study these organizations and they had an original charter or an original mission, how far have they drifted from that original charter and that original mission? And what keeps you from drifting off course in a big way over time is just little check-ins and little checkpoints pointing back to the origination of why you started this and why you started doing things. And so the way I want to communicate it is that at the beginning of the year, that there's a path that has been laid out before you in 2025. But what happens when we're walking on this path is maybe we start wandering off a little bit, we get a little bit off course. I would say that now is the time to reevaluate. Am I on the path? Am I on course? Have I drifted from where I need to be? And if the answer is yes, all right, let's just stop going in the wrong direction. Let's find out where the path is, where we need to course correct and get back on the path and keep going forward. Number 2, do I need to raise my minimum? Something I'm experiencing that I think other people maybe are as well, is that when you set a good minimum, you achieve it, okay? And then when you set a good minimum, it actually becomes easier over time. But maybe what some people are experiencing is that things are getting a little bit too easy. Maybe things are getting stale. Maybe there's not enough challenge to really keep you growing. Something that my mentor asked me today, actually on our phone call, was what I was going to be doing in February to keep growing and keep progressing. Because the 10,000 steps are getting easy, right? The 555 word, worship, and prayer is getting a little too easy. Reading to my kids every night is getting a little too easy. And I know it's not about accomplishment, it's about becoming a better version of myself, but the way we're wired, the way I'm wired at least, is to continually push and continue to grow and to be persistent in effort, or another way to define that is diligence, to be diligent in my growth over 2025. And so I'm reevaluating my minimums. And maybe it's time for you, maybe it's time for me to raise those so that we can keep growing and keep progressing in 2025. And then number 3, do I need to start again? Have I quit? And I would say this: if you have quit, it's never too late to start, especially now. We're only 5% into the new year, and you really only lose in life if you continually give up. I've heard it put this way: if you don't quit, you will eventually win. If you don't quit, you will win. So if you've quit, it is not too late. Don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on the stack. It's not too late to start again. And then something that I've been reflecting on is, why do we stack? Like, why do we care? Why do we care to do these things? Why do we care for growth? And I believe it really comes down to the legacy that we want to leave. Again, we have this picture, this North Star vision of what our life can become with Jesus and community, what our life can become when work, what our life can become in our marriage. And that is something that drives us. And we know that if we want to grow, then we must stack the wins. We must stack the daily decision. We must stack who we are and what we're becoming over time to continue to grow and continue to progress. And nothing grows unintentionally. You only grow by intention and diligence. Okay, that is why we stack. That's why we're doing this podcast. So thank you guys for joining. Ask yourself those questions. Do I need to course correct? Do I need to raise my minimums? And then, have I quit? And do I need to start again? The answer is yes. If you have quit, you need to start again. Thank you guys so much for joining. Have a good one. I'll see you next time in episode 11.